Можете включить стрим Ченский, посмотреть, идет или нет. Сейчас я сброшу. И звук, потому что я помню, что наше нытье, что все плохо. Так, где этот? Бамс. Да, бам. Так, это, наверное, то или не то? Похоже, не очень на то.
Это через YouTube.
Так.
Надо на сам стрим уткнуть.
Ладно, сделаем так. Какой-то костыль, но должен заработать. Ну, я слышу, там уже какая-то мяуканье с моей стороны. Значит, хорошо. Значит, надо сбросить в это. В инфо. Хорошо, супер. Как у нас сейчас зовется? Инфо, да, что-то там?
Для чего?
Ну, чтобы заспамить. Вот. Ну, группа написано, дом совет групп 3, ну да ладно. Так. Все, идет. Пам. Пам. Жук. Все. Спойлер разлетел. Окей. So let's start our next class. Today we should cover cross product and cross product. We'll start from cross product because it's more interesting topic and I can say more words about it. And also we'll cover some tasks. After this we will start dot product. It's easier. So. Okay. So our goals during the first part is understand what is it, because some of you told me that you didn't cover it during the lecture. After this, how to calculate it and the properties. Actually, you need it for the second task. And how to use it, I think it's more interesting. So, what is it? Actually, the result of this cross product will be a vector C, which is a perpendicular to this plane, A and B. Yes, probably most of you have already known about height rule, but in some cases it's not very effective technique to understand this vector, because as for me, I used to forget it's the first vector or second vector. So you can think in another manner. You can think that your result should be, when you go from the first vector to the second vector, it should be positive, so counterclockwise. So, for instance, if you look like this, first, second, it should be counterclockwise. It means it's positive. In this case, it will be a point. Or if we have, so if we choose it, yeah, it's about physics. Yes, in this case, it will be. So our dimension. I mean, so in the end. In the end, we receive a vector. So the result of cross product is vector, not scalar value as in the product. So it will be, the direction of it will be this way. The norm, the length of it will be the square of this plane. There's a small video how to get.
Suppose we have two arrows. Let's define the cross product of these two arrows to be a third arrow. The arrow representing the cross product is always exactly 90 degrees to the two original arrows. The length of the arrow representing the cross product is always exactly equal to the area of the parallelogram that is formed by the original two arrows. The cross product of two arrows plays a critical role in.
So, actually, they said about this, but as for me, first time when I saw about this, I thought, okay, it looks fancy but useless. I'd like to show that, for instance, you can make the slave robot for you. So it's true polishing robot, and it's polishing my shoes right now. And I use to publish task, I use for product, and my mark of success. Okay, so where it can be used? In physics, angular velocity torque, angular velocity omega in Russia, this stuff. Actually, in the school you learn it like this, but in real life it's a cross product. Because on a plane it doesn't have any meaning. I mean, it's meaningless to write like this, because it always time will be equal elements. But in spherical motion, I mean in 3D, it might be applicable right in this manner. Second way to find vector which are perpendicular to the plane. We will cover other techniques how to do it, but it's one of the easiest ones for me, and I use it when, so you have a robot, it tries to pass through some uneven terrain, and you need to find the perpendicular to each point, and you can use cross product because you know one planar, and you can just take perpendicular to this and find this one. And square parallelogram, you will have one task for this. How to calculate it? There are two approaches. One classical one. If you Google it, you will find it definitely. Second one is my, let's call it, my gift for you, because in this case you will solve it much easier. But so in Wikipedia and other places you won't find this one. Firstly, I found it only in robotics when I was a master's degree. So the classical one is this one. Who have seen this stuff when you solve a home task? Or you didn't solve this one? Okay, so actually we will cover it later when we talk about determinant, but actually we need to think in this case that A1, A2, A3, B1, B2, B3. Think about this one like you want to find a vector, so it's, let's call it like, I don't know, like variables. And when you wrote like this, we can call it that we put our vector on the basis. We try to find the scalar values because it's our vector 1, 0, 0, and so on. How to find this precise bracket? Use this equation. I recommend you just to write down it because we will use it soon. Actually, you don't need to understand, you just need to know this equation and use it. I hope Vladimir will explain it during the lecture. Have you done it?
No.
No. Yeah.
Is it the same equation for finding
Determinant?
formula for a plane? Looks really close.
Again, I didn't get it.
I forgot this thing in geometry when we just как называется, где позиция даже где метит точку.
Типа, как называется? Я тоже забыл.
I don't know what it is.
ГМТ? ГМТ?
I don't know actually what they talk about, but it looks like determinant actually. Or определитель. Right. Okay. The second one is this one. So in those cases, you need to think how to calculate it correctly. I mean, to put it and do a lot of stuff. In this case, you just need to multiply matrix and vector. That's it. You don't need to think. How it looks like? Do you know how to who knows how to calculate matrices? Raise your hand, please. Okay, 1, 2. Okay. I will show you. As for me, yes, there are some techniques, but the easiest way, you have the rows and columns, and you need to do it like dummy, like this. So you write it 1 minus az ay az. You can either get how to derive this or just learn it by heart as I did. So you should have zeros on diagonal and write it by x, by y, by z. I'm sure that Vladimir won't show it to you on the lecture, so try to get it now. So it will be A cross product B and either you can write it as mentioned there, A hat, it's called hat B. So try to take all this. So 0 on Bx minus Az on By, A plus Ay B2. Okay. First column. Second one. Az on Bx plus 0 on By minus Ax on Bz. And the last one minus Ay Bx plus Ax By minus 0 or plus 0. So that's it. Using the technique, you can find cross product. As for me, it's much faster than using previous ones. So, also we have a geometrical representation. As I mentioned before, it will be area of this parallelogram. The geometrical representation looks like this. So, in this case, it will be length, as you may get. You may see it's length A, B, sine. So in dot product we have cosine, in this case we have sine. Is the difference. So any suggestions? What do we have? The property. I mean not property actually. Yeah, we can call property. How can we use it? So when we're talking about dot product, we used to think so we have equal to 0. What does it mean?
In dot product,
Yes.
they are orthogonal.
Okay, in this case.
There are 90 degrees between perspectives. Or 100.
In dot product, it will be.
There they will be parallel.
Yes. So in this case, it will be parallel. If it's equal to 0, collinear. In other case, it will be perpendicular. So try to think in this manner. Okay, let's cover a case study. So there are two vectors, A and B. As for me, sometimes it's better just to show the numbers instead of this awkward notation. So we have this guy. So I minus 2, 10, 1, 10. So we just, what we did, you need to find this one. You just slowly just put your hands on these numbers and rewrite this one. After this, you need to find G. Minus 2, minus 4, 10, 10. And the same on the last row, like this. After this, we just need to find it using minus. So you need to multiply this one minus this one. minus 30. Minus 2 multiplied by 10, it will be 20. Minus 1 multiplied by 10, 30. Hooray. And the same technique, the same. So, either we are using micro QC method. In this case, we just need to do the same. Minus 10 multiplied by 1, minus 2 multiplied by 10, minus 30. It seems it's faster. Any questions? Okay, there are some properties. Actually, it might help you to solve the second task, and we will open it when we will start it. Okay, now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Let's start to solve it intentionally. No, because I didn't get some strange language expression. When in English.
Could you repeat, please?
Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Think 2. 4. You can count by yourself. Sure.
No, he can't.
I guess it's just practice for you. As for me, it's silly tasks because you can do it at home or using coding techniques. But for sometimes to get what we learned there, it's better to do it by hand. I recommend you to use both techniques. So solve each task using both classical one and symmetric one. It's raining today. Смотрю, у тебя есть колонка. Такая колонка. Ты берешь одну кнопку, первое значение. Ты идешь по этой колонке, по этой строке. Еще раз. Если все складывается, да, даже эти значения умножаются. Okay. Guys, who didn't get how to multiply matrices?
Close.
What the set is? You didn't get. Okay, again, guys, let's calculate it. Okay, let's open the skew-symmetric matrices. I mean, let's find this one. If you understood how to, or you already know how to multiply matrices, just solve the previous task. Minus 4, 1, So we want to multiply matrix on a vector. See, we have this row, and we have, unfortunately, one column. We want to find this value. Okay, we need to find intersection between this row and this column, and do 0 multiplied by -4 plus -10 multiplied by 1 plus -2 multiplied by 10. So we want to find this value. So what do we need to take?
10 and -4.
So we need to take this row and this column again.
Yeah.
So it will be 10 -4 plus 0, 1 plus 2, 10. And the last one, -2 -4 -2 1 0. And after this, you just need to summarize it, and you will find the solution.
How do we create the first table?
What again?
The first table where
This one?
Yeah.
Minus AZ, AY. It's called the skew symmetrics because it's symmetric, but with different numbers. 10 and 0. Probably you will cover it in the next semester in linear algebra course. Not about how to use it, I mean, but this kind of matrices, what the properties they have. So, how's it going? Did you solve the first task? Who did?
Yes.
Did and do you did? Have you done? So, solve your task, yes. So, have you solved it?
Yes.
Welcome.
Okay.
Clean up by port and solve it. Suppose you should receive the same result using both approaches. It looks better.
Thank you.
Of course, for finding determinant, there are several approaches, like some sectish looks like, I forgot how it's called, when you draw a pentagram like this. Yes, actually it looks like pentagram, like one thing like this, I forgot how it's called. You can use of course them, but as for me, you can just do it by hands, it's not a big problem. You have to learn how to work with matrices probably not next class, but next class. If you're ready, you may start to try to solve this one. I'm dying to do it by my hand, so you write 1, 2, 3, and I solve it. But you're a bachelor, so you need to do it by hand. Yeah. So we will try to solve on the A1. So write down it on your sheet. So this one.
Where did you solve it?
What? It's already. Where?
Yeah.
MATLAB.
Ah, okay.
So, okay, I see most of you, except you. Write it. Or I will do like this. Take it from your neighbor.
I solved my task.
Ah, you solved it home? Okay. I'm glad that you're from in your robot test case. So if you want to check the first variant, tell me it's correct. At least it seems so.
Yes. And the second answer. Nice point.
For simplifying those tasks, you don't need to use it in in coordinate form like we did it there. You just need to operate on this one. It won't help you. Actually, yes, it might help you because as I did it, the result I received in coordinate form, but it's really I show that it still looks like cross product BA, and the result will be the same. Because MATLAB cannot work just with symbols in this case, because we're using cross product. But you can find the solution without using any techniques. Congratulations. So if you solve it correctly, you may check. It's better to clean up. Oh, okay. Does anybody know? I need to look at this. It seems fine. Yes.
Давайте посчитаем.
Господи, они же понимали? Нет, просто ноль. Понятно, не знаю.
So, what is our first goal for this test? So, what properties do we need to use? There.
First.
Actually, it's the same. So, yes.
No.
Yes.
And first rule?
First, we need to use this one.
Yes. But,
Yes.
but the first two.
So you will expand it. After that, you just start to combine together. Because you have A cross root A, you will use the fifth one. Because it will be equal to 0.
Там это есть.
Okay, who can show his solution or try to solve it on the whiteboard? Renat.
Okay.
Еще, короче, классика. Вот это.
Самый,
У меня банан получился.
Типа, без разницы же.
Разница есть.
Да?
Да, плюс банан.
Ну ладно. Ага. Просто.
Это тебе не математика.
А?
Математика это буду складывать. Тут надо иметь имя.
Мгм.
Could you help me, please?
Okay.
I'm from different results, and I don't know why it is.
Да? Это микро?
Вот здесь и здесь все равно.
Минус 2 на минус 8. Отлично. Как минимум мы с математически не ошибся. Да. Да. Ну, как минимум, умножать не научился. Уже хорошо. Поехали здесь. Мы закрываем запись. 3 на минус 8. 5 минус 6.
Подожди, здесь получается нужно здесь кросс-продукт или дот-продукт?
Это как раз называется параграф. Ну там же это будет скорость.
3 на минус 8.
Это минус 24. Здесь минус, да?
Здесь, да, минус 5. Ну, мне кажется, ты где-то, короче, ошибки просто сейчас. Здесь у тебя минус. Между этими.
Да, да, минус.
Видимо, ты где-то просто
Так у меня даже вот здесь вот неправильно.
Дамир, привет.
Вот здесь 40.
Кто сидит интереснее? Человек сидит интереснее.
Не знаю.
Кстати, я съем всем. Хай, Сэм.
Да. Ну, значит, либо ты вот матрицу.
Хабиб, привет.
Там минус иксы, там. Вполне возможно, что ты просто эту матрицу правильно написал. И... Да.
Умничка, ты меня приятно.
Okay. So now, let's switch video. One mic. Yeah. Our goal was how to get with relative. solve this task, you also need to use cross products if you want to implement it. Okay, let's solve the dot product. The task is the same. You want to find what is it, how to calculate it, and how to use it. I hope you solved all tasks, so it will be just 10 minutes and we go to have a break. Okay.
Nope.
What the hell? What are you doing? Okay. So definition. There are two ways, geometrically and algebraically. So you know this way. Who can explain me the intuition of the dot product? What is it? What can it provide to us? Okay, projection.
We project one vector on another and multiply their length.
Actually, we will cover easier ways how to project it, and it will be more intuitive as for me than this one. Other suggestions? Yes, opinions, suggestions.
What is the product?
What can it show to us?
So even 0. So
Yes,
the
it's
angle between vectors are 90 degrees.
Okay, what else? It shows us the similarity between A and B vector. How it's close to each other and so on and so on. So let's watch nice video. So it's about applications. You may see, so I will stop. So from -1, it's opposite directions. If the result, of course, the dot product will be -1. If we normalize our vectors, it will be the same but in different directions. 0 perpendicular, 1 the same. How can we use it?
So now, where in the real world would we care about any of this? Well, one simple example would be what you're seeing here, with solar panels. If you draw a unit normal vector that is coming directly off a solar panel, and another pointing directly at the sun, how similar those vectors are, or their dot product, would be a factor in how much solar energy is absorbed, since the more the solar panels are directly pointing at the sun, the more energy you get. Or another simple application, which is probably the first for a lot of us, is with work done by some force. If you pull a block or wagon or something at an angle along a frictionless surface, so long as you don't pull too hard, that object will slide along the floor in the direction of D. And the closer that force vector is to the direction of motion, the larger a change in kinetic energy you get over some distance. And this can be seen in the equation for change in kinetic energy being force dot distance. And since these aren't necessarily unit vectors now, it's not only about the angle between them, but also their magnitudes. If the force applied to the box or the distance you pulled it were to increase, then so would the change in kinetic energy. But now let's see some lesser known applications of the dot product, starting with video games. Vectors and linear algebra are huge in video game design, as vectors that are stored in the game can contain information on the velocities and relative positions of certain characters, for example. One use of this is determining whether one character is in another's field of view. Like, how should the game determine whether a guard sees you or not as you navigate an area? Well, what the game could do is first assign a field of view to the guard that would span some angle. Then, to determine whether your character is within that field, the game could calculate the unit normal vector for that guard, which points in the direction they're facing, and then it could create another unit vector going from the guard to your character. After performing the dot product, the resulting angle can be used to find the answer of whether you should be caught or chased or whatever in that moment. And in more general terms, the sign of the dot product tells us whether one player is in front of or behind another character or object. So with just a little vector analysis, the computer is able to mathematically understand what's going on within a game.
So again, you may see that it's not useless. So these two tasks. Do we need to spend time on this? Because for me, there's two use equations. Who didn't solve or didn't get? Don't worry that if you didn't get, you'll just spend time and don't be shy. Otherwise, it'll be useless labs and you just go away. You can go home and do nothing. So,
Can you say to us results of
not of course. I don't want to spend my time to solve this task. I can just put it MATLAB now and find. Or otherwise, some of you can say the results. So, for instance, what's the result of this one?
21?
Okay. Did you solve it or no? Okay, I see. Well, did you solve it at home?
No.
Because you told me that you solved first product, I thought that you also solved this one. Okay, let's go briefly. Actually, there are two plays. In this way, we just need to multiply this guy. So we just put it there. And we have one dot product. We have an angle and we have A and B. So we just need to write this equation, A, B cosine alpha. So let's see. And multiply this one. About angle, almost the same. We need to write on the left side the vector angle, algebraic form. On the left side, we need to write the geometrical form. And we will find out the solution. Any questions?
No question.
Okay. It seems I put this task because it's for me the favorite one.
How this one?
Yes, I know. But I want to show you how to. Who has solved it? Can you explain me how do you think? Your way of thinking to solve this task.
Okay.
And I want to think.
I've drawn it.
Okay. First of all, I will show how it should look like after this.
I don't know how to prove that this task has only one answer.
Who said that it's only one answer?
I didn't find out this. I don't know.
Okay. So you received only one answer. Okay.
Me too.
Did you try to solve it? Okay. First of all, if you didn't get what's going on, you need to draw. Of course, if you try to draw 3D by your hands, it looks shitty. I think you agree with me. So we can use GeoGebra, for instance. You just need to draw it. Okay. First of all, we can draw it. So we can draw it there, or use whatever application you like. And we can think, okay, so we have, I hope everybody knows what is going on, the task itself, because otherwise it will be useless picture for you. So we have a cube, we have QP, and we need to find M and N. Okay, we have this line and our MN should intersect it. Okay, first of all, we need to answer. Can we have different points? Do we have only one solution? No. Let's just drag and drop and check. Okay. I put N, for instance, a bit there, and M there. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's put it a bit there, and after this, try to
Yeah.
break. So we already, of course, it's not perpendicular, but we will play with it. Probably we can find several solutions. So it's just my assumption. So when I try to solve something, I think in terms of assumptions. So think the same manner. So you have hypothesis, and you try to prove or disprove it. Not in terms of math, but in terms of your ideas. And as for me, to use some applications, the best way. That should be perpendicular.
We need to calculate PQ vector.
So we have, yes. I try to show how I try to solve it because I found this task. Okay, I'd like to give it to you because today this lab was created by me. So as you may see, no proofs except one, let me say, because I dislike them. Okay, so First of all, we need to get how many variables do we have and how many equations can we receive. Okay. Of course, in this task, we need to think in terms of coordinates because we have a lot of vectors and we have some pretty space, let's put like this. So we need to think in terms of coordinates. After this, we need to think, okay, how many coordinates variables do we have? And what do you think?
Have only 2 variables.
Only 2, yeah.
Why 2?
Because
We know
have,
on which
one,
side.
I'd like to listen.
one variable about one direction, and the second one on different direction to the point.
If we try to say it's more, let's say, officially, not officially, I mean, how many degrees of freedom one point has? Degrees of freedom, so it, roughly speaking, it's just way how we can move it. 3, x, y, and z. We know that our point should move along the line. And our line, according to only one axis. So in this case, if we change one axis, our variable will change. So in x, y, z, it doesn't matter m or something, it will be const. It will be const. And we can find it, of course. And this will be a variable. Okay, one variable.
It's for
And
one
for
point.
1 point,
Yeah.
for m, and the same for n. Are you with me? Do you get what I'm talking about? Right. So, okay, after this, we need to write some equations. It's obvious. Yes, first, of course, for finding intersection between these two guys, we need to do something. We need to write in algebraic way. It will be summarized a Qn, or not Qn, Qp. And multiply by a and m. It will equal to Qp and m equal to, or multiply by cosine something, cosine 90 to 0. This equation won't help us because we cannot find this one and useless for us. So we have this guy. It might help us. So we don't need this equation. We need only algebraic and z is equal to 0. So now we have 2 variables, 1 equation. Yes.
Why cosine is 20 degrees?
Oh, it's not 20. It's it was 90, but I don't know why it's appeared to. Of course it's. What is nice? Okay, yes. Okay, I have okay. After this, we need to choose the basis. If we try to think, not in case of when I'm in school, let's say just coordinates. We need to choose the basis. And you can choose whatever you like. For instance, you can take Q. Or you, for instance, take this one. It's up to you. Because we can just change the basis and solve the task. Okay. Let's first of all найдем QP. So Q is it will be no 05 005 and it will be 115. So QP is our vector. And after this, let's write M and M. What it will be? So M will be x 0. Don't fly, please. So on x it will be 0 because it will be according to y-axis. Y it will be our, for instance, y, and z it will be also 0. For n it will be x1 because it's there, because it's according to BB1, if not mistaken. Yes.
Can you please show us the task again? There is that n is on A1 B1.
A1 B1. What is here?
It is on B1 here.
Okay, A1 B1, it should be there.
Yeah.
Okay, I put it in wrong place. Okay, let's change. It will be x01 and let's write it and n it will be x minus y 1. Okay, let's write this equation. I mean, let's put it there. So 5 x minus y 1 and plus 0 1 multiplied by equal to 0. In this case, find the 5 x equal to y. Okay, we found the relationship between x-axis and y-axis. I mean, with the next task, we can either say, okay, it's solution, but if I were you, I'd like to check it. So we can just put some numbers and check, will it intersect or no? Maybe I'm wrong and I didn't solve this task correctly. Who knows? Okay. We need to first of all make a vector. Boom. So let's write, for instance, x equal to 2. So we should determine the, how to say,
Constraints.
constraints. Yeah, thanks. So it will be x from 0 to 1 and y from 0 to 1. So for instance, we will take x1, it should be 5. Okay. x1 should be doesn't work.
Maybe we need to check our coordinates.
What do you mean?
If check coordinates of each point. Did we write it correctly?
Nice idea.
Right axis is x axis.
Actually, I have a solution and I can send it to you because I already solved it. Now I try to show you how to think, and probably you need to find a mistake there. Okay, I will send you a solution tomorrow. I can show that it exists, if you don't believe. But I choose not x, this x basis as a basis, but q as a basis. In this case, it will be easier for solving. So try to handle this task at home. Draw a picture and solve it. If you didn't get in the next class, I will provide you a solution. Because I don't like to just give you a solution in this case because it will be too easy. In this case, there is a mistake. Because we didn't put some constraint there. Okay. Comes. This one. What does it mean, collinear?
Parallel.
When two vectors are лежат on the same line.
Lies.
Line.
Should it be on the same? Should they be on the same direction or not?
No.
No.
Okay.
They could be at the same and the other.
Okay. So what the equation do we need to write for solving this task?
Line equation. We can represent second vector as a first vector multiplied by constant, some constant.
Do you remember today's video about applications? As I told you about similarity.
Yeah.
So if you want to have the same direction, it should be one thing. If you want to talk about collinears, it can be either one thing or another thing. Okay, let's think. What can we find from this one? Can we find the length?
Yeah.
Yes.
And for this one too. Yes.
Yes.
Can we write it in coordinate form, like this one? I mean, when we write like this. Yes, we can. So now try to solve this task on your sheet. Because you need to, for solving this task, okay, when I start to think about this task, you need to think, first of all, what do we have? And if you don't know something, you need to find out what is it. You need to find out after this. What do we know about this precise task? Yeah.
In our lecture, we were writing matrices. They were like when the left angle is like zeros and the diagonal has only at least 1 0.
Triangle matrix, yes.
Yeah. Can we use this thing here? Because if x, for example, equals 0, we will have 0 at the top. X and x.
Try to see. You don't. It's a bad idea to ask the precise answer. If you have hypothesis, can we use or no? Try to use it, and you will see the result. Why do I need to answer? If you have all necessary tools to check it. If I were you, when I learn something new, my way of preparation is put hypothesis, check it. In this case, the computer is your best friend because you can just find the real solution. You need, in this case, we have x, we have some, how to say, we have system of equations. We can just write it and solve it on a computer. By the way, okay, I'd like to return this task that I want to give you a hint. What was the mistake? So read the task again. And what can you see there?
Another intersects with PQ and it is individual.
It intersects and perpendicular.
Yeah.
These two vectors are perpendicular.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So what we didn't put there?
Perpendicularity. Intersection.
What does it mean, intersection?
When one line have identical same points with another line.
So we didn't put one extra constraint.
Коэффициентов.
Okay. Вау, документар. Секретная разработка целый. Yeah. Сейчас надо сколько.
Suppose override wrong names.
Because I can distinguish both of you, but I don't know your names. No, that one of you is Artyom, other is Roman, but I didn't mind the name and the personality. Бог доски создал.
Вектор комедия. Угол либо плюс, либо нулю. Формула А на Б равно N, Б и синус альфа. Поэтому А на Б равен нулю. Вот. Перемножаем. Потому что нулю.
Почему? Если Если А на Б равно 0, значит 1 90 градусов.
По 90 градусов мы один уже отмываем.
Да.
Тут у нас 98.
Большинство кислотные.
Если А на Б равно 0, значит косинус равен чему?
Да. Косинус. Один синус.
How much time do we have? Till the end of the class.
15 minutes.
15? Okay. Like time. But does anybody remember the Viet theorem?
Viet?
Yes, theorem Vieta.
Yes.
I didn't get here when I was in school, so I can use on the determinant. Oh, wait, yes, to solve this task.
Discriminant.
Discriminant, yeah. I'm dummy.
Does it correct? Is it correct?
What do you think about the first one?
Alex,
I disagree because I have different answers.
Excuse me. Why line vector are collinear? The dot product is equal to 1 or minus 1, negative 1.
So what do you think about it?
It is wrong.
So what should be?
Yes. The dot product is equal произведению длин.
Could you explain?
Try to speak in English. Yes, it sounds stupid, but you should try. Otherwise, you won't be able to speak with foreigners soon. So,
so vectors are collinear, then their sign is equal to 1. But what if their lengths are different?
Yeah.
Then we won't get like 1 or minus 1, we can get any number. So I don't think the first one is true.
what can we do with it?
I think we should check Not the dot product, but the cross product.
No, it says about dot product.
Cosine. We should check cosine. Like, it should be 1 or
Okay.
-1.
The first idea that it can be more than 1, yes? Your suggestion.
Yes.
So what can we do that it would be? How can we manage it? That it will definitely will be 1.
We should divide it by the length.
Yes. So one of the possible solutions
Like
divide.
it's checking the cosine, right?
So if you want to have either 1 or -1, you need to normalize this vector. So divide by length. In this case, will be it right? No. What do you think? You said that he's wrong. Strong argument. Very strong without any arguments. So why is wrong?
Because dot product could be 1 or 0 or -1, but they can't.
Okay, you are
cannot
talking
be
about cosine.
collinear.
Probably we can draw the circle where the cosine is positive or negative.
Maybe.
Could you draw it?
I think we should write a formula of dot product.
Write the formula, please.
Now,
If you want to discuss, you can go here near to the whiteboard. Go. If you're not a couch warrior, and YouTube, if you want to help, go.
Could I write my solution to this task?
We have also another whiteboard. Let's discuss. Why do you think that I should provide you a solution, only one unique solution, and that's it? Yes. It won't be so interesting if you just sit and complaining, oh, very boring classes. Y is equal to 0. And his solution looks better, to be honest.
Yes.
By the way, you make a circle, but it didn't provide where is the plus for cosines.
Это следует отсюда. Я просто это переписал сейчас. В итоге у нас получается решение.
If he's trying to solve, I will open the definition of linear.
Окей. I think this work is correct.
I'd like to say that his solution is right. Why? Because let's open definition. But actually, your solution also can be right. Go see. According to the solution definition, yes, you can, but you can also do it using the product. So, as you may see, the girls, congratulations, right suggestion. We can. So when you have a task, you don't need just rush, let's solve this, guys, and after this provide a lot of solutions. So all you need to get what's going on. I just use one link and I get that functionality is thanks to you. Yes. We can represent it like this. So we have one variable. So we have m and k for x and k, and solve it somehow. Second way is blah 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 blah. Second one is collinear cross product, and I recommend you to try to follow, to write it and solve it in this way. So we need to actually we can do it now. What's the problem? We can just where is that?
Okay.
As for me, it's much more interesting to see how you try to solve the task instead of to do it on whiteboard by myself.
Can we do the cross product for 2 dimensions?
Like zeros in the third dimension.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Right.
Magic. By the way, about this question, it's do you remember what I talked about physics? That we have angular velocity. Do you know what does it mean? Angular velocity. What is it? It's pseudo vector, actually. So we have velocity, linear velocity, скорость. Actually, the difference between velocity and speed, who knows what the difference? Velocity had it's a vector. It had the direction and magnitude, and speed just magnitude is the difference. In Russian, we doesn't have this problem, or we don't have. Yes.
Because speed can start anywhere, but vectors start with 0 point.
Velocity couldn't be negative, but vector can be negative. So that's the difference.
What's a good marker? Okay. Let's use this notation. So it will be 0, 0, 0, minus z, 0, y, x, apple, minus x, 0, x, minus 0, So, what the polynomial order of it?
Polynomial order?
Three? Yes. So we have third order because we have x in power 3. How many solutions do we have in this case?
Maximum 3. Or 2.
So you can solve it and we will get a solution.
3 solutions.
So it's one of the way. You just need to solve it and you will also receive solution. So you can take a seat at home. If you're still lazy to do it by yourself using Python, MATLAB, whatever, or MATLAB Mathematica, probably you use it, Wolfram Mathematica, you use it at school, it seems. At least when I was a first year bachelor, I received a lot of money from my lesson friends because they didn't know about MATLAB, MATCAD, and so on. I just make the big home task in 1 hour and receive money from this. So at home you will get how to handle it. And also you will receive the answer.
It can be done with the metrics.
I told you, you can use any approaches you want. One of them, cross product. Other way, as he did, using definition of collinearity. Yes. Okay, time. This task, do you know how to solve it? Just go briefly. We have three vectors, A, B, and C. So we need to find C. How many variables C has? 3. So we need to have 3 equations. How can we find it? 2 are easy. The third one is not so easy. Okay. So the vector C should be perpendicular to A. Dot product equal to 0. One variable can be found. Angle between B and C. Also, we can find one more equation. The last one. No, you what? Length. The last one, length equal to 1. What does it mean? It will be x squared plus y squared plus z squared equal to 1. That's it. 3 equations, 3 variables, piece of cake.
System of equations.
Sure.
Understandable.
And the answer is
what?
Wolfram. Can you solve it using Wolfram?
Wolfram? Yes, of course, why not? So, probably that's it. Do you have any questions? Probably feedback that my classes are too boring or something like this.